Monday, July 13th, 2026, City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. Really appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We have a lot of things on our agenda, but before I go into that, I do want to say this past few weeks has been very, very busy this past month. Of course, we missed our last meeting because many of the council members were at the CML District Conference, learned a lot of things, brought a lot of knowledge back to the city, and we'll be working on different projects and various ideas that came out of that. But more importantly, we had our 4th of July celebration. And I have to say, I have heard so many great things about it. People loved the fact that we had the wet dry parade, loved the fact that we just continued on with our celebration and made it a great community event throughout the whole day. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank Colby and the Lamar Chamber of Commerce, Jake Chamberlain and Brady Turpin, who kind of were the brainchild of this whole concept of bringing a wet dry parade to Lamar. All the city staff, Pat and his team, and Chief Ritter and his team, they stepped up. They really helped out as far as monitoring and watching. The chief, of course, helping out with the fireworks throughout the day and the weekend, and probably still today even, people shooting fireworks. But at least they're doing, monitoring that and keeping on top of it as much as they can. So thank you to everybody that has contributed, who has spent the time to put it together and make it happen. And hopefully we'll be working on trying to get that to be a new tradition for our community and continue that in the future. With all that said, we're going to move on to our meeting. We have Ray Mattson here for our invitation. Ray?
We're ready this time.
We're ready this time.
Okay, we're good. Okay. Let's pray. Father, we thank you. We do thank you for the events of the last month. Father, we thank you for our nation, for the 250 years that we have gotten to celebrate, and for just being with us in so many different ways. And Father, I thank you for this community and for these people who lead and serve and give so much of their time and effort to make it a great community. And I pray, God, that you would just bless this meeting with your presence and with your wisdom and guidance as they seek to continue to lead us. And we pray it all in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Bates, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:03 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Mark Henley.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins.
Here.
Kurt Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala.
Here.
Brad Johnson.
Here.
Brett Bates.
Here.
Kristen Swartz.
Here.
Mitch Hammis.
Here.
Lance Clark.
Here. Okay, we've all had a chance to look at the agenda. And I did want to see if we can add an executive session just to have a discussion about some of the items that we haven't had a chance to discuss with our attorney yet. That'll be on the agenda later on.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda, moving items 2 down numerically by 1 value and having number 2 be a executive session to receive legal advice from the city attorney per Colorado's revised statute 246402, subsection 4, subsection B.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to add that executive session. Are there any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Oppose, same sign. That Joe and Brad up there.
Unanimous in favor of.
All right, so we've modified that agenda. Next item on the agenda is a review of our consent agenda. Do we have any items that needed to be separated out, first of all?
I didn't see any.
I didn't see any either.
I did not see any.
Okay, with that said, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
All right. Next item is the audience participation portion. Participation, boy, that was hard for me to say. Next item is the public comment portion of the meeting. That's easier. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to a council on an item? Yep. If you could just state your name and information, location, address for the record. Yep.
I'm Twyla Batterton. I live at 1903 South 10th Street, Lamar. I have a very concern about the fireworks, even the one that the city put on, because I live right on the corner of 10th and Savage. My son mowed my lawn Friday. And he goes, "Mom, did you know you had a fire out by your back on the other side of the fence?" I go, "No." He goes, "You had a fire." And the neighbors behind me must have been the one that did it, because they were running water hoses over their fence to put it out. My concern is I have a big stack of firewood back there. If it catches fire, who's going to be responsible to replace it?
Okay.
Because there was a state band, a city band. So who's going to be responsible for replacing it if it burns down? Because one little thing goes in there, the whole thing's going to go, because it's well-seasoned firewood.
And just out of curiosity, and I just wanted to make sure, did you report that so we have a documentation of it, so your insurance company could have a documentation of it as well?
It wasn't that big a fire,
Okay.
but if the weeds would have grown like they have in the past and caught on fire, my whole backyard would have been gone.
And I had made a post before, and usually we just kind of listen, but I will comment back to say I had made a post before the 4th of July, and when I announced that ban. And in the ban, I said if you are caught starting a fire, you would be punished to the extent of the law. That becomes a civil matter between you and that individual, or your insurance and that individual. If you file an insurance claim, the insurance company may go after them. As far as what we can do, we're somewhat limited by the ticketing process that the city has available.
Was it just for the fire or for shooting off fireworks?
Well, if it wasn't, it would be for both if that was the case. Because if it was an airborne firework, those are illegal in the city of Lamar anyhow.
I waited for the city to put off their fireworks. And at 9:15, I thought, I'm going to bed. I've got better things to do, like
Okay.
sleep.
Mhm.
But he seen it when he was mowing, but he also seen it when it was done. And he seen them with water hoses.
Right. Well, and that would have been the time to call when
Well-
he saw them with the water hoses, because then you could have had more pictures of it or something of it to where it would help. But nonetheless, that would be the process. I don't want to have a big, long conversation or a debate about it, but at the same token, the process would be that if something was to burn in your yard, if your house was to catch on fire, you would need to make sure that there's a police report, just like any other fire. You would need to make sure that the fire department's contacted. You would need to contact your homeowner's insurance, and likely the homeowner's insurance would try to do what they can to collect.
It would take a little while to get to my house because I have a lot, 200 by 130. But the very, very back is weeds.
Okay. Well, hopefully that answered some of your questions. I'm sure maybe not all of them, but for the most part, that's what we can do in this part of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. You
But
can reach out to Mitch if you needed to speak more direct, and he can help guide you through some of that outside of the meeting, and hopefully you can help with that.
But if there's a ban, why did even the city do fireworks?
What do you mean?
Didn't they do the fireworks at the fairgrounds?
Yes, we did.
Okay. So if there's a ban, why did they get to do fireworks?
There was a ban on personal fireworks,
Yes.
and our fireworks show is handled by trained professionals.
It was a permitted firework display by the state.
So all these sorry, idiots get to go, all they do is need to go out and say, I need a fireworks permit?
If they can get one approved by the state.
And the state handles that certification process.
We don't do that.
Okay,
But it is a state requirement to have a permit for that. Am I correct, saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to go through backgrounds.
It's a whole check, a training process, verification, insurance. Everything is all covered within a city ran or a professionally ran fireworks display. And that's why it's safer to have a professional fireworks display rather than not having one where everybody's just doing their own thing. And I'm just going to say this because I really need to close this out so we can move on. But the last time we canceled our city fireworks display and banned everything, we actually had 4 fires that night because everybody else in town decided, and I can show you the Facebook posts where everybody was saying, since the city didn't do one, we're going to do one for the city. So you had all of these people that were going to Wyoming, buying their illegal fireworks and putting on their own display for the community. We wanted to prevent that from happening. The city had a permit, we had our insurance, we had our liability covered, we had trained professionals, we had our fire department there. Everything was covered in the most secure way that we could do that. We cannot guarantee that with your neighbor or with the guy down the street or with anybody else that just decides they're going to go to Wyoming and buy fireworks. They don't have insurance, they don't have training, they don't have proper backup as far as a fire truck right there at their side. And so that's why we made the decision to continue. So I hope that answers some of those questions for you, but.
no.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda? All right, seeing none, do we have any? Well, actually, we will move over to the city treasurer's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So this week is our on-site audit. It started today. It was a busy day, so we're plugging our way through that. I wanted to announce that we did get an award from the EPA for our brownfield assessment grant for this next round. We got awarded $500,000 to continue that assessment process. So we're excited to take that on, and Mitch is going to be the project manager on that one. So, and I'll support him as the grant person. And I didn't know, I can't remember, it wasn't announced at the last meeting, but our grant manager did resign and went on to pursue other things in her life. So I am filling in, and Kylie Parker, who is our utility billing clerk, is also going to help me carry through that until I can get through the audit and do some other things, and then we'll get somebody hired. So we'll be filling in and doing that in her absence. So other than that, I don't have anything else unless anybody's got any questions for me.
Anybody?
I don't have any.
I don't have any. How was the Tyler implementation? I know you're
Yeah,
well
so,
over halfway or halfway.
So yeah, we're doing really good. We got all the, we're still have one piece left on the utility billing. We've been working with Aclara for the last 7 months trying to get a file that we could upload. We're very close to that. So as soon as that happens, we're hoping it'll happen on this July billing. So Thomas has been working really hard in the water department and getting that file created for Aclara. So then it'll be completely automated and we'll be able to do better reports and things like that. So that's the only piece we have left in the utility billing. We rolled out inventory module last week. We're doing some more training on the what is it called?
The MyGov.
MyGov for the community development department. We're getting ready to roll out courts, the Parks and Rec module. We're going to do project accounting and work orders over the next probably 3 or 4 weeks. So
Okay.
we're getting some of those smaller modules knocked out as well. So it's moving along nicely, and I can't speak highly enough of Thomas. He has been our IT director. He has been absolutely amazing, and there's no way this project would have gone off without him. So he has just been picked up all the pieces and stayed strong and involved, and he's been doing amazing. So I have to give a huge shout out to Thomas.
That's great. Always good to hear that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions for the city treasurer before we move on? Seeing none, next item would be the city clerk's report. Linda?
Mine's pretty brief. I just wanted to give a quick update on my portion of the Tyler sales tax module is going live on Wednesday. I'm anticipating that there should be no issues with that. And then our accounts receivable, we have started our accounts receivable. It's in the very beginning phases. So I don't have much of an update on that one, but
Okay,
we are moving forward.
okay.
And we also rolled out time and attendance. I forgot to add that. And we did go live last payroll, and it's
It
going to
worked
be
well.
nice. We got a few little things that we had to work out, but I think it's going to be really nice. So
Great. Okay. Any questions for the city clerk? Seeing none, we will move forward with the city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So for the events, the SECCI Fight Night 2026 is this Saturday, July 18th from 5 to 9 at the Sand and Stage Pavilion at the fairgrounds. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. The Prowers County Market grand opening and ribbon cutting will be Saturday, July 25th from 9 till noon. The Lamar Chamber of Commerce Evening Farmers Market is Saturday, July 25th from 5 to 8 p.m. And Grace Family Worship Center is hosting the Back to School Bash on Saturday, August 1st from 9 to 1. That's the events that we have so far. Have some pretty interesting and exciting department updates. One of the things Colby has done in our Parks Department is looked at ad and sponsorship spaces in the community building and the Merchants Field, and the response to increased ad prices as well as placement is phenomenal. It's more than what we expected, so that's a good thing for our Parks Department. The Woodmill tournament, the co-ed softball tournament, was this past weekend, and there were no issues that were reported to me, so that means it went off pretty well. So always happy when there's an event and nothing reaches my desk, so that's good. I'm very thankful and proud of our police department. There's an increase in traffic stops from May to June of about 25%, I believe. And one that I personally witnessed on Main Street, the person was going, I believe it was 21 miles an hour over the posted speed limit. So that was exciting to hear. I saw the stop, but I didn't know the speed until afterwards. So thank you, Chief. Thanks to the department for that. The fly-in that we hosted on June 27th was a success. We had 62 planes, and the Lions Club served about 127. Sorry, June 27th served about 150 pancake breakfasts. So they said it was one of the best breakfasts they had in recent memory. So, and then the consultants, Tim Jackson and Tim Fritz, I've been talking with them since then. They're headed to Oshkosh for apparently the country's largest aviation event on July the 20th, where they intend to talk up Lamar. So hopefully we see some results from that. Our code enforcement officer is headed out tomorrow to Garden Grove, California for a 3-day intensive code enforcement conference and training session. And that's compliments of the Code Comply Summit folks that are there. So we're excited that it's just all that's costing us is flight and hotel. The fee was covered. And then August 26th from 10 to 2, it's a Wednesday, Colorado Municipal League will be hosting a seminar here in Lamar in our Cultural Event Center. It's an effective governance workshop, as it's called. So we're excited to have them in our city. And that's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no questions, we will move on to reports and correspondence from the council. Start off with Joe. Joe.
Sorry, I don't have anything to report this evening.
Okay. Mark.
Just two items, and one of them, we'll talk about Main Street Lamar and the Corporate Cup. We'll talk about that here in a bit. I just want to acknowledge them and all the hard work that they've been doing to see that that becomes a success. In the past, it has been quite the event, and from what I've seen this year, it is going to be unmatched. So we're really looking forward to that. And from the Senior Center, they continue with activities. I just want folks in the community to be aware that it's going to get hotter and hotter. We already have the 100-degree days, and we do have folks out there that we do need to be checking on. If you have neighbors, elder neighbors, please check on them. Make sure they have food and water. We do have resources for them, even transportation if they need to get to the stores. So let's just be mindful of our elders and take care of them. They're a resource that we do need to hold precious. Other than that, nothing else. Jerry?
This is on agenda item number 2, but we had the public safety and we have 3 seats that we'll be replacing.
All right. And it sounds like the neighborhood watch is going
Yes, it's
very
going
well,
well.
and people are involved, and
We have some ladies that are real go-getters, and I can give you, unless you want to wait for this.
we can wait on
Okay.
it, but
But the neighborhood watch program is going really good. Diane Poole and Jenny Mortimer and Kim Burgess have been really big help getting it
Great.
going.
okay, great. Anything else?
So
David?
No, I don't have anything at the moment either.
Brad?
Nothing this evening.
Brent?
I was unfortunately not able to attend Water Advisory Board, so I'm going to put Pat on the spot. Do you want to give us a quick update on Water Advisory Board?
Basically, just took a look at the latest well levels, and so they are dropping. But they're not as drastic as we thought they would. Although we did recently bring this, what I call recharge water, so we recharge that aquifer out there a little bit. So it'll take some time to recharge it. But, even though it's for summertime, there is some water going on. The well levels have dropped. Not as drastic as I feared they might. Still in the ground, we still want to continue on stage 2 water restrictions. There may be more likely they're going to bring down another round of that recharge water out of the reservoir over the next month or so. We'll shower that. So we'd like the residents to continue following along with stage 2. Summer will be all right. So.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah. And I informed Pat I wasn't going to be able to make it. My life will slow down a little bit after July, and I'll be back in attendance. So thank you. I just had a couple other things. I wanted to echo what Councilmember Headley said. I've been super impressed with everything I've heard about the Corporate Cup. Used to be on the Main Street Board, and that was one of my favorite things that I was a part of. So just shout out to Brenda and the board. Thank you, Mitch, for adding Fight Night onto the event. As everyone knows, it's also one of my babies is SECCI, and we've got great food, great entertainment, and it's going to be a good time. We also have our first annual Drive for Hope golf tournament on August 1st. Feel free to reach out to SECCI Prez, PRES@gmail, if you would like a registration form. We're looking to get at least 18 teams, and we've got room for more. So that's all I've got.
Okay. For me, of course, I had a visit with the ARC of Colorado. They came and did an engagement tour in Lamar, Colorado. And I attended that meeting and met with Elizabeth Moran, and as well as a lot of different people that were there in attendance from SDS and some of the other organizations. She had sent me a letter thanking me for participating in the meeting and for attending. I thought it was very enlightening and informational for me. It was something that I've really been wanting to learn more about, accessibility and what we need to do to help ensure that our community has all the accessible needs within our city. So it was a great conversation. We had some great discussions, and hopefully it was worthwhile for them as well. Aside from that, Mitch had mentioned about the August 26th CML District Conference in Lamar. I had a conversation at the CML District Conference with Joe Iola as well as Dwayne Grillet. We're at the mayor's mingle is what they called it there at the CML conference, where all the mayors got together, and there was a lot of conversations about the Denver Metro Area Mayors Group Caucus or the Colorado Pikes Peak Mayors Caucus. And we thought it might be good to try to get all of our mayors throughout Southeast Colorado together prior to the CML district meeting here in Lamar on August 26th. So I'll be reaching out to all the area mayors to invite them to Lamar for lunch, and we'll have a little social between 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock when the regular CML district conference happens. But we will invite them, and hopefully we can have a discussion about some of the challenges facing all of us here in Southeast Colorado, and we could work together and try to get some ideas to expand Southeast Colorado even further. So that will be something you'll hear more about in the near future, but hopefully it'll stick. Aside from that, I don't have anything else for reports and correspondence. So we can move on to new business. All right, first item on new business is a public hearing for a special events permit for the Sand and Sage Roundup to host a beer garden during the Sand and Sage Roundup Fair. So we will need a motion to go into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Same thing.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, we are now in the public hearing. I'll start off with staff presentation. Is there anything from the clerk that you'd like to verify and let us know? Everything was
So we
posted?
received application on May 18th for the event, requesting the event. It was posted on June 8th. I requested a public hearing to be set for July 13th. It was posted on site and in the newspaper on July 3rd, and they have tip certification. We haven't had any problems in the past. And
Okay. And there's not any changes from the previous application last year? No changes?
identical, correct?
Okay. All right. Attorney, city attorney, Lance, is there anything that you've found?
I don't have any issues with it.
Okay. And then finally, the police chief.
No comments and no objections.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. With that all said, and we've reviewed the staff findings, we will move to the applicant's presentation. Would you like to come up and say a few words about your application?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Just how's it gone in the past? What are we looking for this year? Are there no changes, like she said? So if you
Okay.
could just give us an idea.
I'm Cindy Bennett. I live at 8076 County Road, MM3 in Lamar. I honestly can't tell you how long we've had the beer garden. I was going to look and I forgot. We haven't had any problems in the past. We have a lot of volunteers in the beer garden. Darla takes care of it and does a very good job of that. We have tip certified people in the beer garden. Posse is there for security. That's all lined out and ready to go. We don't anticipate any problems again this year. The map is a little bit different on Friday to Saturday because we do allow them to go into the arena just like we did last year. And we didn't have any problems with that last year at all.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And so the map just changed minor, just for the dates?
It opened up, made an opening going into the arena to directly in front of the stage.
Okay.
So that they could have alcohol out there. And then on Friday night, that gate is closed. They're not allowed in the arena, and we go back to the beer garden area, just like we have had in the past.
They
Okay.
did that identical. It's identical to last year.
Yeah, it's identical to last year.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
Since you said the change.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, any questions for the applicant?
I feel like I saw it online, but who's the band this year?
Chancey Williams is the headliner, and it's a Spanish band opening, and don't ask me how to say their name because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay,
They're the opening act.
Awesome.
okay. All right, any other questions?
How do
I
you,
don't have any.
how do you keep the minors separated on Friday night from the adults that are drinking?
There's panels put up, and then there's a snow fence put up, and The posse does watch that. Then we also have volunteers, correct, Darla? That watch that fence as well so that they can't pass it across. And we had no issues with that last year.
And if I remember right, like 2 years ago, we just asked that you expand it from 5 to 10 feet, the width of that chute, and I see on here it's 10 feet, so.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you, Cindy.
Unless
You're
there's
welcome.
some kids with 11-foot arms.
We should be okay. And everything went great last year, so.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, at this time, I will open up the floor for anyone that would like to speak for or against this application. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, we will go ahead and close the floor. And I will open it up for any questions or clarification before we close the public hearing. Are there any questions for clarification?
I don't have any.
Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Now I'll open it up to discussion for the council to see what you think on this application. We can either table it, we can approve it, deny it, but we can make a decision on that tonight. Is there any questions or concerns that anybody has?
I don't have any concerns.
Do we have a motion to,
So moved.
Second.
yeah, we have a motion and a second to approve?
Yes,
Yep.
to approve, sorry.
All right. So I have a motion and a second to approve this application. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
There we go. You got your permit. Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda will be the executive session. We're hoping that this will only take 5-10 minutes, but it can take 15. We will move into this executive session, which is the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6, 402, subsection 4, subsection B, regarding the wastewater discharge permit. So do we have a motion to go into the executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
So we will leave the recording on while we do this executive session since it is brief, but we will be back shortly. Thank you.
That's for the traffic.
Okay, we will now return to the regular meeting and agenda item number 3, which is appointments to the Public Safety Board. This was initiated by Mike Duffy of the Public Safety Board and Mitch Hammis. Mike, did you want to talk about these at all, or are you good? Mitch can do that? Either one?
I'm good. Pretty self-explanatory.
Okay. We had 3 different applicants for the Public Safety Board with 3 different openings. The recommendation of the Public Safety Board is with the following terms. They are recommending Mike Duffy for a 4-year term expiring on June 1st of 2030. We have John Dykes Jr. for a 4-year term expiring on June 1st of 2030, and Jennifer Mortimer for a 2-year term expiring on June 1st of 2028. So these would just be appointments with the recommendations.
I make a motion to approve all 3 public safety applications.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Escondido Field Turf Management Services Agreement. This was initiated by Colby Brubaker, our interim our Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. Since taking over as interim Parks and Rec Director, one of my main priorities has been Escondido Field. And in making sure that it's getting back to a healthy, playable collegiate field. And specifically, we're talking about the collegiate part of Escondido, not where the rec league soccer takes place. First day on the job, I met with Chad Nolder of Lawn Co. of Colorado, or of Lamar. Met with him about different variations of what the grass is going through, the different stresses that it's having right now, as well as going through every single step since last year of when this sod was installed. And then talking about steps that we can mitigate the issues that it currently has. He's put forth a vegetation management program for us. We're super thankful for all of his recommendations, the time that he spent out there with us. We feel confident in his plan. I feel confident in his plan. This last week, we also had Timberline, a superintendent from Timberline, come down and join us. Timberline was the company that put in the irrigation system about 6 or 7 years ago. His name is Jack Snow. He came down. We also shared with him that vegetation plan, and he works for a big company there up in Colorado Springs. He had good things to say about the plan, so we're excited to move forward with this. Part of the issues that we're seeing is not good root growth, and that's going to be part of that fertilizer stuff that he puts down so we can try and establish roots with that sod, as well as several other things that is listed in there. Does council have any questions for me or anything to add, Mitch? Or
I would just like to say, adding to Colby's, Mr. Nolder is local. He runs a business here in Lamar. He takes care of the county properties and others around town. And when we went and looked at those, we found that the grass was green and it was growing and it looked healthy. And to my limited knowledge, it looked much better than Escondido Field does. And so I felt that having somebody local who knows our climate, knows our requirements, that kind of stuff, would be a better option than somebody from far outside the region.
Well, I think that's the big frustration for me, is that the dog park looks better than Escondido, the new Escondido field. And so whatever we need to do to get it back into shape, I think it's important, because we can't afford to lose that again. We had placed that in trust with the other company, thinking that they would get this put into place. And I know this has just been a nightmare. So anything we could do to get this repaired, I think it's important, but I just don't know the answer.
The question I have, you mentioned Timberline did the sprinkler system, is that correct?
Correct.
Colby, were they the ones, refresh my memory, were they the ones that did the repair work the second time around?
Golf and Sport was the other.
No.
Golf and Sport?
Timberline was the first.
Okay.
if you go out there and you'll see snow fence covering the collegiate field part that we're keeping people off. They were part of the outer section. I mean, as far as like that install of that grass
Okay.
at that time.
Well, where I was trying to get to, my point was that I thought that work was under warranty if we kept in touch with them, take photos of it, and, get his advice and go from there. Have you tried that by any means before we go with Mr. Nolder?
As far as
I'm not
golf,
opposed to it, but
as far as golf sport, we did everything. As far as, I mean, I went back through different emails, different applications that our parks guys did to it. It only seemed to hurt the field. Even going back as far as, yeah, but as far as the
Have
warranty,
we contacted them to see if they would replace out sections of sod that are dying or anything, any kind of correspondence with Golf and Sport?
when I first came on, we were discontinuing like contact with them. So I have not. However, I'm more than happy to reach out to them and ask them to come down and see what we can do to, as far as like replacing pieces of the field. Yes, I can do that.
Well, I would hate to just let them off the hook, so to speak. I mean,
For
they
sure.
guaranteed us that they would make this for 3 years. We had a 3-year guarantee as long as we followed all of their recommendations. And even if they didn't work, if they can at least get us the replacement sod in sections to help bring it back faster, that would be a benefit in itself.
and then hopefully at that time we can visit with Nolder, contract him, and then have him take care of it and get it strong to where it needs to be, to where it'd be easier to take care of.
I think one of the problematic pieces for me and my involvement is is that we have records from the water department that it was not watered for 3 months consistently. And with a dry, warmish winter, we no water, that's going to be problematic.
And I can't imagine that follows the prescription we were given.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So there may be a challenge anyhow.
There might be a challenge just based on what we know happened versus what we think that we did follow what they did.
And I do have one question, and I'm not sure. I'm just, are we under any obligation to get like a second bid? I mean, this is only one bid from one company. Are we under an obligation to have at least two? Is what I'm asking.
I will tell you, in my perspective, this is an emergency because the longer we take to do something, the longer it's going to take to get anything done.
I'm pretty sure the college's first game is scheduled for here in late August.
And I've talked with Dr. Reyes and Dr. Krug from the school district, and they're not going to be playing on Escondido, and there are other there's contingencies, and the college is going to be playing on the high school turf field.
Well, and even to that point about it being an emergency, with how the summer has been, if we put off any more time on getting that thing rolling, we might lose the field altogether.
Right. I think Mr. Nolder said it'd be 12 months minimum before we could see
A change.
significant change or improvement. So,
And there's no trees blocking the wind out there. I can tell you directly from experience at the course, we've got an incredible superintendent who cannot do anything about the overnight 25-mile-per-hour winds at 85 degrees that's causing wind burn. And he's probably one of the best locals in the game of grass. And so without any wind protection and with the forecast of what the rest of the summer is, I don't know if we can even afford to wait 2 more weeks.
It looks bad.
We might, I'm serious, you can
Right.
literally lose that entire field if the weather continues the way it is over the next few weeks. I watched the golf course go from lush green to wind burnt and dying and dry in rough areas that aren't the focal point in a matter of 3 weeks.
Well, what would you like to do, council? Do you have, do you want to make a motion on this proposal?
I think simply at the cost point versus what we've spent the last 2 attempts in the 5 to 6 figure range, I think it's worth it to give it a shot, especially that it's local. So I make a motion to, and I'd love for you to still explore that option, see if they'll come work with Mr. Nolder and spot fix areas. But to City Administrator Hamis's point, there were negligent actions taken by the previous Parks and Rec director on management of that facility. So My motion is to move forward and let me find it, approve the contract with Lawn Cove Lamar pending city attorney's approval and allow the mayor to sign.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I'm good.
All those in favor signify with an eye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, thank you, Colby.
And I just want to make one point to Mitch's point there. I've joked with Pat about if anybody wants to complain about water restrictions, come look at Jerry Bates's lawn. It's because grass doesn't grow on a calendar schedule. When you're in Lamar, Colorado, and this is pertinent for you as in your role through the rest of your time, you're basing it off of weather conditions. And that's to everybody out there wondering why their grass isn't green. If you let it go unwatered and untreated over the winter time this last year, your grass is now dead.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next item is a request for extraterritorial water and wastewater services initiated by Pat Mason, the Public Works Director. Pat?
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight I have a request for water wastewater service located just outside the city limits at 6634 County Road HH.5. It's out near Rodeo Drive neighborhood. So they're requesting a 3/4 inch water service and wastewater service for that address. Staff would recommend that council approve that request, as we do have utilities actually readily available in that area.
Okay. All right, so we would need a approval for the extraterritorial water service and wastewater service agreement for DZ Construction at 6634 County Road HH.5 and allow the mayor to sign.
I'll move and recommend approval of the extraterritorial water and wastewater services agreement for DC Construction at 6634 County Road HH.5 in Lamar, Colorado.
Allow the mayor to sign.
And allow the mayor to sign.
Good. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Consulting service with Warren Camp. This is agenda item number 6 and initiated by our interim community development director, Stephanie Struby. Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'd like to request, we've had an agreement now with Warren Camp for, I want to say 4 years. And we'd like to continue that agreement with him. So I brought that to council for your approval.
Okay, and this is for consulting, contractor consulting service or building inspection? What is it?
That is,
all of the above?
Mainly consulting service with assistance in building inspection when needed.
Okay.
Is it the same contract that we've had in the past with Warren?
Correct.
Okay, nothing's changed on it?
Nothing has changed other than the dates.
And Lance has reviewed it. Okay. All right.
I make a motion to approve the consulting service agreement with Warren Camp and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
I'll second that.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, agenda number 7, is Main Street Lamar Corporate Cup Vendor Permit Fee Waived. It's initiated by Brenda Brown, the Community Programs Manager.
Thank you.
Hello,
Good
Brenda.
evening, Mayor and council members. As was mentioned before, I have been working very hard on the upcoming Corporate Cup. And I was hired on January 5th and began this process January 6th. So I've been working very hard to make this a very successful event. Through the process of Corporate Cup, it has been brought to my attention several different aspects of the Corporate Cup that I needed to take care of. And one was mentioned that I needed to attend the city council meeting to request that the vendor fee be waived for food trucks that are present at the Corporate Cup. And so currently we have 2. We have Crave the Shave that will be with us 2 of the 4 days of the event. And then we have Dalen's that will be there all 4 days. And so it's my understanding that the fee is $5 per vendor per event. So currently I would be asking the council to waive the $10 for the event.
Okay.
And I'm open to any questions that you all may have about Corporate Cup this year.
Considering how important that is and how busy that will be, generally, if they want to waive permit fees, they have to go through the council to do so. So it's good that you're doing that. It's very minor. How much is that total again?
$10.
For all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
I hope it goes well.
It will go great.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since the Corporate Cup is held by a quasi-governmental agency of the city, do they need to come request that permit?
Yeah,
Annually?
technically, because the Main Street is its own entity with its own board, so that's why
Okay.
they would need to ask to get the
Okay.
waiver.
Thank you for clarifying. Just, yeah, like you were expressing, $10.
Yeah, it's not
Thanks
a
for
big
coming,
deal.
Brenda.
Yeah, thank you guys. No
Thank you.
questions about Corporate Cup for me?
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, number 8, approval of State of Colorado Department of Local Affairs, Lamar Expanding Affordable Housing Capacity Grant Agreement. This is initiated by Kristen Schwartz, our treasurer.
Yes, the council gave us permission to apply for this grant. It was through SECED. We were awarded the grant for the Lamar Expanding Affordable Housing Capacity Grant in the amount of $50,000. And this is the grant agreement that goes along with that. We will be using it, mostly it will be through the Community Development Department for consultation with Michael Yerman. He was the one that redid our codes under the last grant. So we're just asking for council to approve the grant agreement. It doesn't need a mayor's signature. It's through DOLA, and they do it through on their side and just send us a executed copy. Lance has reviewed this and didn't have any issues with it. So.
Okay. All right. Council, what do you think?
Make a motion to approve the grant agreement.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And you said I do not need to sign. You could just sign as a grant.
They just, the DOLA is the only one the mayor or the governor signs it, and DOLA's representative signs it, and then they send us back an executed copy. We just have to give them that we got it approved by council.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 9, the award bid 46-003 for janitorial services at the Welcome Center.
Yes, we went out for our annual bid for the janitorial services at the Welcome Center. It was advertised in the local paper or the paper of record. We received one bid back by July 7th, and we held the bid opening on July 8th. And we are recommending that you award bid 46003 for the janitorial services at the Welcome Center to Daniel Newhold. He's been our person for a long time. He did up his price just a little bit, I think $50 this year. So we're just asking to award him the bid and allow the mayor to sign a service agreement.
Okay. All right, council.
I make a motion to award the bid to Daniel Newhold and allow the mayor to sign.
And council, city council or the city attorney has reviewed the agreement.
And as city attorney to review.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, agenda item number 10, discussion and direction regarding wastewater discharge permit strategy. As the council already knows, we have been working on a new wastewater treatment plant since 2018, 17, do you remember? It's been quite a while.
It's been a minute.
I think it started in 19, actually, because I just
gonna say
became mayor and it was just starting out. So we've been working on this wastewater treatment plant since 2019. This is an issue that came to the city council not only while I was the mayor, but even for the mayor before, because our lagoon system was built in the late 50s and it's been here in Lamar, serving Lamar for all of these years. And the CDPHE has determined that they are no longer going to permit us on that lagoon system. So for us to continue, we need to completely get a brand new wastewater treatment system. Am I saying that all right, Pat? Okay. So what we've been working on, we've already gotten a lot of the design work and we're working with JVA. And the challenge that we ran into over the last year has been the discharge permit. The city is asking to obtain a discharge permit from CDPHE, and that is to discharge dilute water into the Arkansas River. However, the Lamar Light and Power Board currently has the authority to utilize that permit for the Lamar Repowering Project power plant. But the repowering plant has been demolished and is no longer in service. The question was to the Lamar Light and Power whether or not they would release that permit so that we could automatically do it very easy, very cheaply. And they had stated that they really wanted to keep it in case they decided to build a new power plant in the future. After months and months of talks, on May 26th, we had a meeting with the Lamar Utility Boards, and the Lamar Utility Board unanimously voted, and I'll read it directly from the minutes. Chairman Thrall asked that the board propose to give up the discharge permit if the city agrees to give back the annual $350,000 settlement funds from ARPA and agree that there is a need, if there is a need for Lamar Light and Power to obtain a discharge permit in the future, that the city would work with them to allow them to get that. So that is the proposal we need to discuss tonight. And over the last couple of months, we've been reviewing that. I know Mitch and I have talked about it, as well as Brent Bates, and we've reached out to outside counsel to discuss it as well, because we are in a interesting position where our city attorney is the same attorney as Lamar Light and Power Board's attorney. So we've had to kind of talk and just have discussions outside of Lance's purview, so that way he can stay anonymous with this whole process, or not anonymous, mutually, or yeah. So anyhow, this is the decision we need to make tonight. We have two different decisions that I believe we need to make. The first decision is whether or not we want to accept the proposal of refunding or paying the $350,000 a year for the next 14 years to obtain this permit. However, we have received some information that may question a lot of what's going on with this and the way that this motion was presented. The question that we were presented with, and I'm just going to say it, we need to know definitely and definitively whether a subordinate board has the charter authority to condition its cooperation on an environmental permit release upon a multi-million-dollar payment from the city's general fund. Does the Lamar Light and Power have the authority to do that, or was that motion stepping outside of and beyond their scope as the board of directors? Because the city attorneys concurrently represents both the city and the Lamar Light and Power, I am proposing that we hire a third-party independent municipal attorney to investigate this portion of it, as well as make a decision. So we'll have two decisions to make. One is whether or not we want to accept this proposal from Lamar Light and Power. And the other that I am recommending is that we hire or retain an independent municipal attorney to have them investigate both our charter, the city, Lamar Light and Power's charter, and make sure that there's no improper actions or discussions being held. Our advice is that we want to make sure that we are not causing any exposure or risk for the city of Lamar. We do not feel that, or I do not feel that any one of our departments should have the right to tell the board that if you don't abide by our budget request, then we're not going to do the work or we are not going to support you. And to me, that's really what it comes down to, is it's more of a ransom demand than it is a cooperative, collaborative effort between the entities within the city of Lamar. So I would like to ask the council to not only make a decision about the proposed offer that Lamar Light and Power has made, but also to consider retaining an independent municipal council that can do a review to make sure that we are all working within the proper scope of our authority as the council, as well as the Lamar Light and Power Board. So that is my request. I'll open it up for discussions with the council.
As you said, Mayor Crespin, as Mayor Pro Tem, we've communicated about this for several months. Attended some of the LUB's board meetings, a special meeting, and I am in agreement with you that this feels more like a ransom than it does a collaborative effort to move forward.
Anyone else want to add anything, or?
I think having an attorney other than Lance who represents, inform both entities to show absolutely neutral decisions, that they're going to be attorney who has no personal affiliation with Lamar. They're going to look just at the black and white, the charter, and the facts, and present that to us. I think we at least owe that to the citizens. They're going to get the best decision out of this that has no vested interest to anyone
Whatsoever.
but a neutral party. And then we go make our decisions from there.
Yeah, and I guess my point of it was that I was asked these questions and I felt like they needed to be addressed. I am in no way saying that anybody has done anything wrong, and I don't believe that retaining an independent counsel to review both charters and review the process is saying that anybody has done any wrongdoing. We just want to make sure that we are doing it properly and that everything is according to what our charters are requiring us to do. I guess I wanted to clarify that. By no means am I saying that any individual on the board or on the council has done anything wrong. It's just, it was questionable enough the way it was presented that we need to make sure that we clarify it. Did they have the right to make that request? If they did, we'll get a third party to review it and make sure. And that way there's no conflict for our city attorney or for the Lamar Light and Power attorney. And then we can move on from there. So, and if you want to ignore the idea or the recommendation to have a third party review it, we can do that, or we can postpone that into a future time. It's up to the council. That's just one of my recommendations, is that we make that decision of whether or not to accept their proposal and whether or not we can, look into it to make sure that it's all done above board. We can just make a decision only on their proposal and leave it at that and table the other for the future if you decide to do so with that. Mitch, did you want to add anything, or?
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. In my conversations exploring the options, it was definitely recommended that to get an attorney with a demonstrated municipal experience who can look at charters and look at the offer that was made, and then advise the council and the administration on the best step forward as it relates to this matter.
Okay. So I'll leave it up to the council, however you would like to address that.
I'd like to make a motion I move that the city council reject the Lamar Utility Board's proposal that we direct city administration to consult directly with CDPHE to pursue the appropriate discharge authorization for the wastewater treatment plant, that we authorize the mayor and city administrator to continue discussions with the utilities board and CDPHE as needed, to ensure that no settlement funds are committed without further council approval, and to direct staff to engage independent special municipal counsel to advise the city council regarding the extent of Lamar Light and Power's charter authority and rights, including whether the board's recent decision to condition termination of its unused discharge permit for the demolished power plant on payment from the city violated any laws or ethical obligations.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any final discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Oh, did I?
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. All right, shifting gears, we also, the next one is a discussion of an offer to purchase a City of Lamar enterprise asset. This is kind of hand in hand with the last one, but it is something that was brought up over a year ago. I was approached by a member of the Southeast Colorado Power Association board. And they had suggested a proposal of, would the city be interested in selling Lamar Light and Power? Now, that is a big monumental task and a monumental ask. I did sit down at that time last year and I met with Hussein Huri, our superintendent. He was completely against it. Later thereafter, I did meet with the city council, and as then Mayor Pro Tem Manuel Temez had mentioned, he felt that it was our fiduciary duty to at least hear what the proposal was. So after that, Mitch Hammis and I worked with a third-party attorney to work up an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so that we can have initial discussions with Southeast Colorado Power and the city to see what their proposal would be. Out of all the discussions, we are now at a point where the city council needs to determine whether or not they want to proceed with this decision, for one, and then they would also need to know whether or not, well, first off, whether or not they want to do this, because we are at a point where we need to do an appraisal of Lamar Light and Power as an entity, all of the assets, all of the billing, and everything else, and that is a major task in itself. Southeast Colorado Power Board did approve to split the cost of the assessment or the appraisal in half with us. And that'll be on the next item, where the valuation cost is going to be $17,500. Their cost, they would be willing to split it with us at $8,750. So my question will be in two parts. The first one, item number 11, is whether or not the city wants to continue to proceed with engaging special counsel to obtain independent evaluation and further evaluate the merits of a potential sale. And number two, which would be agenda item number 12, would be whether or not we are willing to sign a contract agreement with this third party to finalize evaluation of the property or the asset of Lamar Light and Power. The only reason why I'm entertaining this, and the only reason why we have continued to entertain it, is the idea of lower rates for our citizens. By blending in all of Southeast Colorado Power's and customers, along with all of the city of Lamar's customers, at this time, we both, the Southeast Colorado Power, as well as Mitch and I and Brent and the negotiators of this, feel like there will be a benefit by merging and blending in all of the rates to lower the rates for every consumer within Southeast Colorado that's under Southeast Colorado Power. So there is a potential benefit. Plus, Southeast Colorado Power has offered and is willing to take our place on the ARPA board and continue to fulfill all of the city of Lamar's contract obligations with ARPA until the end of the contract with ARPA. That'll be a conversation that ARPA has with Southeast Colorado Power and the city of Lamar in the long run. But as of right now, we're just trying to get more of the information gathering first before we get too far. Thirdly is that Southeast Colorado Power offers a lot of different programs, whether it's their big rebate programs. They do have net metering that they offer for solar customers, as well as financing options and other things for some of the services that they offer. So I agree with Manuel Temez from last year that it is our fiduciary duty as a council to at least hear what they have to offer and see if it is possible and see if it is worth merit for our community. And if it's not, then we don't do anything. But ultimately, and I think our city attorney can clarify this, but ultimately we cannot make that decision. The only thing that the city council can do is inquire about this, find out the details, get the final proposal, and then put it to a ballot of the people of Lamar. And it will be the people of Lamar who will make the final decision. Our decision will be to today, do we continue to pursue this in trying to find an answer? And then later on, we will need to decide whether or not we want to put this on the ballot. And if we put it on the ballot, then it'll be up to the people to decide whether or not this is the best value for them. It will not be the council's decision. It will be the decision of the people. Did you want to add anything that I missed?
I do. Thank you, Mayor Crespin. I also agree with former Mayor Pro Tem Temez. He said it very, very eloquently last year. It is our duty to present these opportunities or options to our voting community. To reiterate what you said, this would ultimately come down to a vote of to a ballot measure and a vote by the citizens of Lamar. But I do believe it is our duty to explore these options when they're presented, especially given the preliminary exploration we've done into lowered rates, different rebate programs, and the whole value of the option as presented to our community members. And the only way we can create data points on if it's even viable to put forward is through continuing engagement with special counsel and through evaluation of the asset.
Okay. Anybody else? Mark or John?
I just think the cost of electricity and utilities is a big concern to folks in Lamar. So I've heard from people time after time, the rates keep going up. We can't afford this. We keep turning the thermostat up or have to turn it down. And I think it's a big deal to folks. And we have to find a way to help them. And if the people in Lamar do decide that they want, then this is a good deal, then let the people decide. But I think it does have merit that we need to explore this. You do look for options. You don't always just, when you go out and buy a car, you don't buy the first car you see. You shop around and you look for the best deal, the best bang for your buck. And folks in this town don't have a whole lot of bucks.
Yeah.
So they need the best bang for their buck. So if this is going to be a benefit to the people in Lamar, it could merit.
And it may not.
I'm in agreement with you guys. You know, I believe we do need to explore this option and start taking the initial steps to find out the evaluation of this process and really start digging into deeper conversations with the Southeast Colorado Power and find out what actually we can offer, you know, or what benefits the citizens will receive from this and give them the option to choose whether they choose to sell it or not.
And I think we will. We just have to be very open with the people of Lamar. These are the pros, these are the cons. The complete transparency from the very get-go. So the folks themselves can decide.
And I think this is the first step in that transparency. Is, you know, after several conversations and meetings to see if it's even something that was viable from SECPA's side, and now we know it is our duty to present this. And it ultimately proves that a voting democracy is still owned by the voters, because it will be their decision if it gets on a ballot to decide if they think this is the best value for them on a majority level.
And we may do the evaluation or the appraisal and find out that it's not worth what they need, or maybe it's worth too much and they don't feel like they need to. So they could back out at any time if they so choose. Just the same, if we cannot get the best deal for our community, then we can not put it on the ballot as well. So it's just part of that negotiation where we need to be transparent with the community saying, yes, we are looking at this. There is no guarantee that it's going to happen. But all we can do is see whether or not it's viable enough to put onto the ballot. And if it is, then it'll be up to the people to decide.
100%.
Were you going to say something?
I feel the same.
Yeah. I think we're still a long ways out. I don't think it'll be on the ballot for this November, maybe next November, if that was the case. But like I said, ARPA may not allow that transition. There may not be a legal way for them to take over our position as a member of ARPA. And if that's the case, then it just dies and it stops there. But I think it's worth exploring if we need to. David?
Well,
Brad?
I think, I think it's great. And letting the people know also, so they'll have a say for it also, and be able to also, they'll need to do their research and stuff like that. But I mean, like for us too, that we own businesses and stuff, if it happens where it does sell and our rates go down, I mean, that'll help everybody else, but it's just doing that research and making sure everything's going to be, good to go, and make sure it's good. The rates are going to help our people out here and stuff like that,
We have seen communities, I think Pueblo was one that sold to Black Hills Energy, but that was to a private company, and they've had some struggles. With Southeast Colorado Power, they're a cooperative, and they're a different type of entity. They're not looking at just pure profit for shareholders. They're looking at long-term investments, and they do things differently. So maybe it'll be a different situation.
And then that was the thing I was going to ask too, if there was any other ones that that was run that way where they sold. Just like for instance, I don't know if I haven't done my research on like Garden City, how they did it, if they own their own entity or if they sold, to another. And I mean, because just look at them, they're really booming out there. But I think it'll be great just to put it out there and see what we can get.
Okay, Brad?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think it's our duty to at least look into it further.
All right, so we have agenda item number 11 and 12. Like I said, 11 would be whether or not to continue to pursue gathering information, and then number 12 would be to whether or not we want to split the 8,700 or the 17,500 and pay the 8,750 to do the asset valuation.
Just want to clarify. So Linda, do we need a motion for item 11?
For each.
We do? Okay. I'll make a motion to direct city staff to continue engaging with special counsel and to obtain an independent valuation to further evaluate the merits of this potential sale.
Is that fair? Is that right? Or should we add them together?
No, so it needs to be two separate motions.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Motion for
continuing.
item 11 to discuss.
To direct staff to continue
Yeah.
the procedure, the process.
The valuation.
All right, so we have a motion to direct staff to continue engagement with special counsel to obtain an independent valuation and further evaluate the merits of a potential sale. So we have a motion and a second. Okay, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
And then agenda item number 12 is whether or not we authorize the city staff to spend the 8,750 to pay for our half of the valuation of the asset.
We need a contract first.
We will need a contract, yes.
So correct me if I'm wrong, we need to start with requesting the contract.
Okay.
And then once we get the contract, we can have it reviewed and come back for the 8,750.
Correct.
Okay. I make a motion to direct city staff to request a contract for valuation services to present to city council for approval at a later date. Is that correct? Is that right?
So what we got from the consultant is a proposal with the price and the scope of work. And then,
Yeah.
but if we,
I would like to see that scope of work and proposal before I vote on it.
so we can do
So
that.
to present the
Yeah, we-
contract at the next meeting
Yep, we can do that.
and have the attorney review it.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I'll second Brent's motion.
Okay. So we have the motion to direct city staff to request a contract for valuation services and present it to the council at the next meeting, correct? Is that right? Okay, and you had a motion and we had a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. All right, the last item, well, agenda item number 13, it's not quite the last, is discussion and possible action regarding first reading of an ordinance establishing regulations for automated vehicle identification systems, AVIS. This is initiated by Mitch Hammis and Chief Ritter.
Good evening, council and mayor. As previously discussed, we had talked about doing a proposal for the implementation of a photo radar system to address some of the speeding concerns within the city of Lamar. This is that proposed ordinance. I don't have a whole lot to add that's not in the commentary or actually within the ordinance itself. I think you'll see it's a very thorough ordinance and it explains a lot of things and a lot of questions that may come up. Things are actually incorporated within the ordinance. I'd just like to add that I think it's a very well-drafted ordinance and incorporates some additional transparency and oversight that other ordinances do not have in that. I think you can pick that out as you go through and read through that ordinance. So I'd just like to thank Lance for his work on that and the city administrator for his input and work in providing some additional provisions to provide for that additional transparency and oversight. And that kind of pertains to if it's effective, if it's not effective, if we can expand, and curtailing to the caveats of the state law and the certain prescribed elements that go into that statute. It's a kind of a long, complex statute, as Lance can attest to. So we wanted to implement this right and not have an issue with having to do refunds as other communities have because they didn't implement it correctly. So it's taken a little bit longer to get taken care of. And again, I think you'll find that we've exercised more than due diligence in drafting this ordinance and making it very thorough and complete.
So for the first reading, we would need to read this out loud and get it approved from there, correct? Boy, it's lengthy. We will get it started though. I'll go ahead and get started. I may ask Brent to jump in if I have a hard time here, but all right, this is for ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado, adding new sections 26-13 to Chapter 26 of the Lamar Municipal Code to establish regulations for the automated vehicle identification system in the City of Lamar, Colorado. Whereas the City of Lamar, Colorado City is a home rule municipal charter of the state of Colorado, duly organized and operated under the Constitution and the laws of the state of Colorado. And whereas the city of Lamar seeks to enhance public safety and reduce traffic-related injuries, and whereas pursuant to CRS 42-4-110.5, the city is authorized to utilize automated vehicle identification systems to detect violations of traffic regulations adopted by the city, subject to certain conditions and limitations. And whereas the city of Lamar has completed traffic studies and maintains traffic data concerning incidents and crashes, speeding, reckless driving, and community complaints within the city. And whereas the speed of the vehicles traveling in excess of the speed limits in Lamar, Colorado presents an immediate danger for the citizens of Lamar, and that reducing such speeds in the excess of the speed limit will immediately preserve the welfare and the life of children and citizens of the city. And whereas the City Council desires to establish clear rules for the use of photo enforcement to ensure fairness, transparency, and compliance with the state law. And whereas the City Council finds and declares that the addition of Section 26-13 to the Lamar Municipal Code regarding the use of automated vehicle identification systems as set forth in herein in the proper and necessary to advance the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado as follows. Section 1, a new section 26-13 of Chapter 26 of the Lamar Municipal Code is hereby added to read as follows. Section 26-13, automated vehicle identification system. Purpose, to regulate the use of automated vehicle identification systems, AVIS, for traffic enforcement and promoting public safety while protecting individual rights. B, for purposes of these sections, the following definition shall apply where otherwise specified. Number 1, automated vehicle identification system shall have the same meaning as provided in Colorado Revised Statutes 42-4-110.5. Number 2, civil penalty assessment notice shall mean a notice mailed via first-class mail or personally served to a registered owner of a vehicle involved in any speed violation or traffic signal control violation that has previously received a notice of violation. Number 3, notice of violation shall mean a notice mailed via first-class mail or personally served to a registered owner of a vehicle involved in any speed violation or traffic control signal violation detected by an automated vehicle identification system advising that the violation has been detected, or a similar notice mailed to the operator of the vehicle identified by a registered owner of said vehicle. Number 4, residential neighborhood shall have the same meaning as provided in Colorado Revised Statutes 42-4-110.5. C, notices of violation in general. Number 1, if the city detects any alleged violation of a county or municipal traffic regulation or traffic violation under the state law using an automated vehicle identification system, then the city shall issue or cause its vendor to issue to the registered owner of the motor vehicle involved in the alleged violation by first-class mail or personal service a notice of violation. Number 2, the city may only issue a notice of violation for violations that occur 1, within a school zone as divided in Colorado Revised Statutes 42-4-615. Number 2, within a residential neighborhood. Number 3, within a maintenance, construction, or repair zone designated pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 42-4-614. 4, along a street that borders a city park. 5, along a street or highway inside the city limits with a speed limit of 35 miles per hour or less. 6, along the street or portion of any street which the city designates as an automated vehicle identification system corridor. Or 7, within AVI corridors. AVI corridors must be approved by CDOT and the Colorado State Patrol pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 42-4-110.5. 3, the notice of violation shall include the requirement listed in Colorado Revised Statutes 42-4-110.5 and at minimum contain the following information. 8, the name and address of the registered owner of the motor vehicle involved in the alleged violation. 9, the license plate number of the motor vehicle involved in the alleged violation. 10, the date, time, and location of the alleged violation. 11, the amount of the civil penalty prescribed for the alleged violation. 12, the deadline for payment of the prescribed civil penalty and for the disputing the alleged violation. And 13, information on how the registered owner may either dispute the alleged violation at a hearing or pay the prescribed penalty. The notice shall contain a written deadline for disputing the alleged violation, which is not less than 45 days after the issuance of the date of the notice. D, to protest a notice of violation, the registered owner must request in writing a hearing to dispute the alleged violation. E, speeding violations. Number 1, for a speeding violation of less than 10 miles an hour or over the posted speed limit under the safety traffic regulation or under state law through the use of automated vehicle identification system, the violation may be cited as followed. 1, for the registered owner, first offense, a written warning with no penalty or surcharge. And 2, for the registered owner's second or subsequent offenses, a notice of a violation. Number 2, for a speeding violation of 10 or more miles per hour over the speed limit under the city traffic regulation or under state law through the use of an automated vehicle identification system, the city shall issue or cause its vendor to issue to a registered owner of notice of violation. F, civil penalty. The maximum civil penalty for speeding violations under this section, including any surcharge, is $40 unless the violation is within a school zone, in which the case the maximum penalty shall be $80. However, a violation that occurs within a maintenance, construction, or repair zone designated pursuant under Colorado Revised Statutes 424614 may be subject to a civil penalty of $80. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the penalty for a speeding violation or the traffic control signal violation under this section shall not exceed any penalty provided by applicable provisions of the Colorado Revised Statutes. I may have you take over here in a minute, Brent.
Just let me know.
G, signage. The city shall, number one, post a permanent sign in a conspicuous place for not fewer than 300 feet before the beginning of the automated vehicle identification system corridor, and a permanent sign not fewer than 300 feet before each camera within the corridor thereafter. And or two, post a temporary sign not fewer than 300 feet before any mobile camera. H, automated vehicle identification system corridors. Number one, pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 424110.5, subsection 2, subsection G, subsection I, the city will identify automated vehicle identification system corridors based on the collected traffic data and place the automated vehicle identification system to represent the highest traffic safety needs of the city. The city council may designate the location of the automated vehicle identification corridor by ordinance or resolution. Determining the location of each automated vehicle identification corridor shall be based on the need of the traffic study. The city designates the following locations to be included as part of the automated vehicle identification corridor. 1, school zones, and 2, Main Street within its city limits. Number 2, the city shall illustrate through data collected within the past 5 years incidents of crashes, speeding, reckless driving, or community complaints on the streets designated as an automated vehicle identification system corridor. Number 3, the city will coordinate with the Department of Transportation and Colorado State Patrol in designated corridors. Number 4, if applicable, the city will publish a report on its website disclosing the number of citations and revenue generated by the automated vehicle identification system corridor. The chief of police shall present an annual report to the city council evaluating each automated vehicle identification system location and recommending whether to continue, relocate, or expand or remove the system altogether. Number 5, the city shall not locate an automated vehicle identification system corridor on any highway that is part of a federal interstate highway system.
I, civil penalty assessment notices. 1, if the city has not received the prescribed civil penalty or written notice requesting a hearing to dispute the alleged violation by the deadline provided in the notice of violation, then the city shall issue or cause its vendor to issue a civil penalty assessment notice to be served on the registered owner either by first-class mail or personal service. 2, the civil penalty assessment notice include the requirements listed in Colorado Revised Statute 42-4-110.5 and at a minimum contain the following information. 1, the name and address of the registered owner of the motor vehicle involved in the alleged violation. 2, the license plate of the motor vehicle involved in the alleged violation. 3, the date, time, and location of the alleged violation. 4, the amount of the civil penalty prescribed for the alleged violation. 5, the deadline for payment of the prescribed civil penalty. And 6, information on how to pay the prescribed civil penalty. Number 3, if the registered owner fails to pay the full prescribed civil penalty by the deadline stated in the civil penalty assessment notice, a final order of liability shall be entered against the registered owner of the vehicle. The final order of liability must be personally served to the registered owner. Final orders of liability may be appealed as to matters of law and fact to the Broward County Court. Number 4, the city may initiate or pursue a collection action against the registered owner of a motor vehicle for debt resulting from the final order of liability, contingent upon personal service of the notice of violation or the final order of liability. 5, the city shall not report to the Department of Transportation any conviction or entry of judgment against a defendant for a violation of a municipal traffic regulation and traffic violation under state law if the violation was detected through the use of an automated vehicle identification system. 6, if the registered owner fails to pay the full prescribed civil penalty, the city shall not attempt to enforce the penalty by immobilizing the registered vehicle owner's vehicle. J, vendors. Number 1, no portion of any fine collected through the use of an automated vehicle identification system may be paid to the manufacturer or vendor of the automated vehicle identification system equipment. The compensation to such vendor by the city shall be based on the value of such equipment and the value of any services provided, and may not be based on the number of traffic citations issued or the revenue generated by such equipment or services. K, data retention. Number one, the city shall, one, program the automated vehicle identification system to retain data only when a violation of a county or municipal traffic regulation or traffic violation under state law occurs. Two, treat all photographs and video collected by the automated vehicle identification system as confidential and exempt from disclosure and inspections pursuant to the Colorado Opens Record Act, Part 2 of Article 72, Title 24 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. Three, not use, disclose, sell, or permit access to photographs, video, or personal identifiable data collected by the automated vehicle identification system, except to the extent necessary to operate the program, including for purposes of processing violations, for other law enforcement purposes, for transferring data to a new vendor or operating system, or pursuant to a court order for use in unrelated legal proceedings. And four, destroy any photographs and video of a violation collected by the automated vehicle identification system within 3 years after the final disposition of the violation, unless the photograph or video are maintained in a separate system for other purposes allowed by law. Finally, section 2. Repealer. All ordinances, resolutions, bylaws, and regulations of the city in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent only of such inconsistency. This repealer shall not be construed to revive any ordinance, resolution, bylaw, or regulation, or part thereof heretofore repealed. Section 3, severability. If any section, paragraph, clause, or provision of this ordinance shall be held invalid or unenforceable, the invalidity or unenforceability of such section, paragraph, clause, or provision shall not affect any other provision of this ordinance. Section 4, effective date. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect 30 days after publication following final passage and adoption.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve this on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this on first reading. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Oops, try again. Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Working so hard on this.
Thank you.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Thank you for all your work on
As I
this.
said, Lance and Mitch had some great ideas, and I think it's a really well-drafted ordinance, so acknowledgement goes to them. Thank you.
And I think the concerns that I've heard about were like with the flock security and
Yeah,
People
entirely
miss-
different system, entirely different everything, no association whatsoever.
and the abuse of information, which it sounds like that's all been addressed in this.
Yep, it's all in there within the state law and other provisions that were drafted.
Thank you for clarifying that. I know Kirk and I've had several community members reach out over
Learned
the last
something
few
just this
months
week, yeah.
about flock cameras, and we've told them the city doesn't own any. The only one that I'm aware of is owned by the sheriff's department, and I don't even know if it's up anymore. So,
Yeah, we don't have any contracts with Flock whatsoever.
no, and this is not a flock camera.
No, entirely different.
No, I had several people
Mhm.
asking me, and one individual ended up taking a video of one supposedly, but I never did. Only looked for it, but never did see it. And yeah.
We don't have any contract for their service.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Last but not least, any miscellaneous items that we need to discuss?
I also wanted to thank the city staff that showed up for the community social, Kristen, Chief Ritter, there are several others, for volunteering to help with the community social. Appreciate it.
It was a lot of work and really appreciate that. I'm glad you mentioned it. Thank you. Okay.
Chief Ritter did a great job handing out chips, and man, Kristen, you had those cookies wrangled. I had a community member request to know where the cookies were from, and I had no clue because they loved the iced oatmeal, probably dollar store cookies.
Actually from the Powers County Market.
It was awesome. Good. If you're listening, that's where to get them.
Saturday, the 25th is the grand opening for Powers County Market.
Right.
So
9 to 12.
So if you council can plan to be there at 9 at least for the ribbon cutting, that would be great. I think it'd be good to support them.
And just as a reminder, I will be out of town that weekend.
Text or something like that, just to remind you.
And
Okay.
I will be out of town, so we need some other council members to show up.
Yes,
So,
please. All right, sounds good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
so second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, I was gonna delay it, but all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Joe?
Joe wants to stay.
Push itself. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Our next meeting will be Monday, July